Welcome to the Firespitting with BS01 podcast, where we absolutely roast Bionicle.
I'm Swert, and with me are
Dorek.
This is KCN02.
And Spirit.
Excellent. And as you can see, I think it's pretty obvious what we're doing today. I'm not going to even do the whole, well, whatever, and blah. No. We're talking about the Dark Hunters today. And what better way to talk about them?
This was the Bone Hunter tier list.
Oh,
Not prepared.
You've got Pharaoh. You've got the nameless ones in the movie.
Yeah.
That's it. Done. Great
Easy
talking to y'all.
list. Episode done.
Right.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And yep, hope you had a great Bionicle day. Okay. Either way, yeah, we're talking about Dark Hunters today, and we're going to kind of wrap two episodes into one. Yes, this is the tier list, but I believe a few of you have a couple of grievances to air with these characters as well. Mostly,
Each and every one of them.
yeah.
Yeah, a few. I'm just going to put it politely.
Especially the ones we don't have pictures of.
To be fair, there's only about 5? Yeah. 5, yeah. Technically 4, because Triclax, I can never say that name. Technically does have an appearance. It's not a good one.
And the Rahi Nui, we do have a picture of its tail from a video game.
But either way, we'll probably just dive right in. Before I start, just so everybody's aware, so obviously these are all various icons of all of the Dark Hunters. If you would like to learn more in depth about them, by all means, please feel free to check out BS01, the wiki that has all the information you need about the characters and stuff.
Hooray.
I am horrible at this. I'm so rusty, but that's okay. We're doing it semi-live.
So I've got the book in front of me, just so I can make sure that there's no revisionist history creeping its way in here.
Very
We're
good.
going to go to the original source material.
Excellent. All right. Would you like to introduce the first character then?
Sure, the Shadowed One. So looking at his entry, talks about his unnaturally advanced age, which we've talked about before, is not real.
That's true.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, he's about 5
I
minutes
mean,
old.
it is real in that, yeah, like anything is real, but yeah, it has zero impact on the story. It's got nothing. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Despite
It doesn't
my
qualify for
unnaturally-
the discount.
Yeah, despite my unnaturally advanced age, the result of a battle with Makuta, I remain in firm control of the Dark Hunters. You aged like 3 months, dude.
Well, I mean, aside from the fact that like time, has no like relevance to anything, like, it's never mentioned again, and not in any of the subsequent appearances. And he appears like a fair bit. It doesn't get talked about.
No, not even. It's barely mentioned. Like you would expect him to use that staff of his as kind of like a walking stick at some point.
Well, he's kind of got his tail as a third leg, which
Yeah,
maybe
that does
might have been
happen.
included on the model.
Yeah, possibly. So I guess the first question is, where should we place him, and why should it just be dead in the middle? Because he's kind of like
I'm gonna give him an A. His design's just so cool, man.
his design
Yeah,
is pretty cool.
By
Yeah.
design or by powers?
I'm going with design. Like, I'm going with vibes. Like, and he also like doesn't have too many powers, which is nice. He's got his disintegrator, eye beams, and then he's got his
It's a-
staff.
Yeah, a madness rotuga
pro-
is what he's also listed as
Yeah.
having. Which
Not listed in the book, not real. Fake news.
all right. His abilities and traits, he's a very charismatic leader, but also arrogant and sadistic. I mean, A is a very good benchmark to start with. There are probably very few that could go above the Shadow One in our list. But let's find out together. All right. Air Watcher is the next one on our list. Described at the beginning, Air Watcher is a dim-witted Dark Hunter who guarded the fortress of Odina. By the way, Odina, if you're not aware, is the island of the homeland of the Dark Hunters. What are we thinking? So powers, none. Abilities,
He
Really not.
he can fly for short distances.
okay, well, yes, he does have a pair of wings that allows him to travel short distances.
And fire a stream of acid.
As we know, acid is not a power.
Normally, I would rank him F because A's design sucks and B, like, his powers are kind of lame. But I also kind of like how lame and pathetic, like, that's just his shtick. Like, I feel bad for him, and that's by design, so I'm gonna give him D.
Yeah, I don't think we can do much better for Airwatcher. I mean,
Well, who is worse than Airwatcher?
oh, there's going to be a few.
Oh, we got
Okay.
We got time. We got plenty of people. Amphibax. Amphibix? How do we want to
Amphibax.
Amphibax. Okay.
Okay, so they've all got code names.
Yes, these are all code
This is-
names.
Code name just a
except
made
for
up
the
word.
ones that don't.
Yeah, like what is this?
No,
I'm sure
Lariska's totally...
Amphibax is not a code name.
No.
It's not a code name according to our trivia.
No, it absolutely is not. That is just the name.
Mm-hmm. I guess the Shadow One couldn't think of anything for a nickname.
He just looked at this thing and he's like, I don't even know. What do you call yourself? Amphibax. Okay, good enough.
We're using our real names here.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Peter.
Hmm.
Amphibax is known for having the ruthlessness of a Takea shark and the mind of a thief. He is the Shadow One's first pick in underwater-related operations. Okay, so first of all, underwater. Obviously, not a lot of Dark Hunters deal with water directly, so this is good for them to have a specialized operator.
His only powers are being fast, and not even like unusually fast. He's just like a good runner. He's a triathlete.
Yeah, he
That's
is listed as
practical.
having enhanced hearing and eyesight with tools of a long claws and a spiny whip. I mean,
This is pretty bad, guys. This is pretty bad. I don't like him.
I would say C.
Yeah, no, heck no. I would give this guy an F.
Yeah, he's terrible.
You think
Yeah.
he's that bad?
He
Like,
doesn't
well,
even
I'm
have
from
a
the-
head.
He is a specialized character.
No,
though, so that's
the
only
Nuva
thing.
chest plate with the bow rock eyes, I think, is his head. It's just like curved so far forward that it looks like the chest piece.
Personally, I'm not trying to judge based off the
Oh.
appearance of the mocks because let's be honest, a lot of these were built by literal children.
Yeah,
So
but,
I'm
like,
trying to be
I am absolutely going to judge on their appearance.
All right. Well, yeah, as far as his actual, I mean, if he's only there for water operations, how often do they go underwater anyway? You would have to
can
have at least
also-
4 or 5 of those.
He can also run fast on land,
Yeah.
but not like unnaturally fast. He just can run.
Yeah. All right.
He's a
Well,
runny boy.
Keep running, just keep running.
well, next up on our list, and took me for a second there, we have Ancient. Now, Ancient is a weird character for our needs because, yes, he is a Dark Hunter and he is the most trusted agent of the Shadow One, but he's also Secret Order Matanui operative.
And he goes
So-
out like a punk.
He does go out like a punk, yeah.
He does go out like a punk.
Like, I could have done a much better job of dealing with his death, like having a giant ass. Yeah, you know what I mean. I was just saying.
Powerful
Just,
armor that is impenetrable to most physical attacks. Citation needed.
yeah, Arc cannot, and yet totally taken care of by viruses. Wear your mask, kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, prior to like the reveal that he was a member of the Order of Matanui, I'd give him like a pretty high rating overall because like the design is cool. Like obviously, it's
Yeah,
a little more
design is really
advanced than
well
some of
done.
them. But like you got
color
that
scheme
gold and
is-
blue color scheme is top notch. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, blue, gold, and
like-
black, and I guess silver. But everything is silver in Bionicle.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not silver,
He
it's gold.
can float. He can rapid fire Rotuka that rob you of physical coordination. I'd say A is fine.
I would put him higher, but again, like you did point out, he went out like a punk.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a glorious like fight to the death and lost to the Shadow One, I would have been okay with putting him higher. But he really did go out pretty poorly. All right, so now we are on the first of the Skakti known as the Paraka. This is Avak.
Whoa! This is a family stream. You can't say that.
Look, we call
That is
ourselves
their
fire
word.
spinners. Okay, that's why I introduce him as a Skakti first. I go with the species first. I love how we have a citation needed on the BS01 page already, where it says, and I quote this: "Avak originally lived on Zaktas in relative peace." Citation needed.
Peace in quotes.
I remember them mentioning that the denizens of Zakaz were actually relatively peaceful. And then Spiria said, but I could do better.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't. Anyway, one of the 5 Dark Hunters who joined with Zaktan later to go basically, loot quests down in Mangaya because, well, Pterodax had been defeated. And they're like, oh, hey, free loot.
Okay, here's the problem we're going to run into. All the Paraka are better than everyone else. They're so overpowered.
That's very true. That is very,
they
very
are
true.
a little bit.
He can create a prison from his mind that is inescapable.
His
What?
powers are X-ray and telescopic vision and prediction conjuring for the perfect prison, except when it's not the perfect prison. That's the other thing. So I believe a few have broken out, but is it because somebody else interferes?
Yeah, well, I think they somehow have to make a direct somehow attack effect or
They break his
concentration.
concentration. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kongu was able to do that using its max power.
So knowing that he has a limitation on his powers, but they are still very, very powerful. Does that put him higher up on the list than the others, perhaps?
I'd say so.
Like a B, or would you go even higher?
I'm
give
saying
him-
S.
Yeah.
Really? You would put him. I suppose he does have the ability to defeat the Shadow One if everybody just stood back and let him cook.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'd maybe rank him a little lower, if only because like his design is kind of lamer than a lot of the other
Yeah.
Paraka. I don't know. He's probably one of my least favorite Paraka designs.
Oh no! He was my first Baraka. I absolutely loved it.
His teeth
I
don't
mean-
fit in his mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was. I'm not saying he was the best, but he was my first. That's for sure. All right. Well, I'll leave him on A, and if we decide later we don't have enough S, he would be my first candidate to go up. All right. Let's move on to the next one, Charger, who originally was a Cane Ra and then was transformed into this humanoid figure capable of speech and sapient thought, which is terrifying in itself. But that's beside the point. Let's see here. As a Cane Ra, he obviously has sharp curved horns and a broad snout, but yeah. What's interesting is he has a violent hatred of all Rahi, especially Muaka. So what do you think of him?
I kind of like him. Again, I like these ones like without overly complicated backstories. I mean, this one's maybe pushing it a little bit complicated, but like, he's got a very simple design. He's got his weapons.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'd give him maybe a B.
Canonically, he smells bad.
Yeah.
Smell
Sounds like
is canon.
Yeah.
mhm.
Is that the only
Maybe,
character
make a
whose
joke here,
smell
so-
that we know?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a joke here, but we may just in case you want to cut it out. Smells like bull something.
Uh,
No, I
Okay.
believe you wanted to say moo. Anyway,
dang
Yeah.
it.
I'm getting
Dang it.
booed for that one. Oh, hold up. I am absolutely missing Conjurer. How the heck did I miss Conjurer?
Oh,
How can you miss the one that I have so much to talk about?
Okay, well, unfortunately, Conjurer's not here, but I can create his file while you are talking about him. So, give me a few
okay.
seconds.
I mean, like the
Yes,
the
we are booting up
regular-
Photoshop live.
All right, cool. Look, Conjurer, like in the original books, was fine, right? I don't know, Spirit, if you want to like maybe give a little bit of a background on him, like it's fine.
He's got telekinetic abilities, Staff of Disintegration, steal power from an opponent and channel it to Conjurer. Hates water.
And that's it.
Yeah. He used magic to trick Matoran into worshipping him.
Okay.
So a
he's a
magician
bit
or
of
a
a-
conjurist.
Yeah, he's a bit of a showman then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
That's
right.
all fine. For some reason, Conjurer like became this, I don't know, flashpoint to just like add a whole bunch of like weird canon to. So like now he is the same species as the Shadowed One and also Ancient. I guess that's a different story. And like he used to have a tail, but now doesn't have a tail because reasons. And like none of it none of it makes any sense or is consistent with like how it was originally presented. People just kept like adding things to him for fun, and I hate that so much.
Oh, I guess Ancient and the Shadowed One have tails. Yeah, no, it's too much.
It's just too
All right,
much.
well, he is here. Now that I've added him. Sorry about that. We did that
you're
live.
good.
But at least I had the ability to add him. All right, so what are we thinking? He is
So
a little
his-
flashy.
his-
He does have interesting powers, sort of.
Is this a typo? What it says he's got hold on. Let me read properly. Yeah, he says he's got Kanoka discs. He clearly has Rotuka.
Yeah, it's probably a
That
typo
happened
in the
a lot
book.
in the
Let me look at
books.
the trivia.
Those got mixed up a lot.
Yeah, Conjurer's image in it was mirrored as evidenced by the creator's original photographs and the Rotuka launcher orientation. Because no official publication featured an unmirrored version of Conjurer, the image in this article has been left mirrored. First of all, which is
But it does say
again, it's
Kanoka
weird.
in the book, Spirit?
It does.
Okay.
does say
Should probably add
Kanoka in
that
the
as a
book, but
trivia as
we
well.
definitely still show it being. We do still see it as Rotuka on the website.
Also, his powers have limitations. If he tries, so he's like incapacitated because he tried to absorb a Makuta's power, and now he's in a coma. Great.
All
Really,
right,
well,
really
yeah.
useful.
Well,
Yeah, give him
I
a
give him
D.
C.
see,
Okay, C's fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
he is very powerful in that he does kind of have this whole. He's basically Spider-Man's Mysterio, in a way.
Yeah, like
that
that's
is
I
a
think
very
a good,
similar vibe to him.
an apt comparison. I mean, again, like going back to the original book, like that's fun, right? Like he's this kind of arrogant showman, and then he gets in over his head, and now he's in a coma. Like that's funny to read, that's funny to learn about, and like that just makes for a good story. Everything else that came after that is awful.
Yep.
And people should feel bad about it.
More importantly, what's interesting is yes, he attempted to absorb the power of Makuta and then fell into a coma, and then they just carried him out of the robot
Of course.
because they're
Might
not
be still
heathens.
useful somehow.
Yep. You know what? That's probably why I may have forgotten him in the first place. Is he's really not relevant, but he is still
He's really not conscious.
that too. All right, moving on to Darkness.
Ah, my least favorite one.
Honestly, first and foremost, I will say his power or his abilities and his appearance look amazing, but no, he is not great.
Why does he exist?
He
We
is a
talked about this.
watchful dark hunter assigned to supervise the Shadow One's actions and decisions to ensure that his leader does not become merciful and compassionate.
Yeah, just like the mafia. What? Just don't hire someone to do this job.
So, more importantly, if he's so powerful that he is able to take out the Shadow One, why aren't you putting him on the front lines in the Matoran Dark Hunter war?
Well, because you
Or-
need
or
to.
sorry,
Why doesn't he? Like, if the assumption then is that like darkness has a better, I guess, judgment of what constitutes evil, why doesn't he just kill the Shadowed One, like, and take the place himself already?
Because he's still evil enough.
And more
For now.
importantly, what's interesting is he also joined with the Five Skakti that later became the Paraka, attempting to rebel against the Shadow One, and Darkness briefly left the Shadow One's side to speak with them. He warned them of their actions and also that the Shadow One knew of their plan. And that's the only time he ever leaves the Shadow One's side. And it's like, okay, look, this is not going to go down the way you think it's going to go down. So instead of just slaughtering them for being, rebellious, whatever, he just straight up warns them and then lets them get captured anyway.
Well, I mean, I think like his role in that was to like if the Shadowed One was, so weak as to then like fall or, fall prey to the Paraka's then trap, like then he didn't deserve it anyway. So he was just kind of, I don't know, trolling them, I guess. Like he didn't really care one way or the other.
Yeah, no. And here's the other thing. Why didn't he slaughter the Shadow One when he was thrown into Roporok? Or Voporok later? That's the other question.
So like,
Yeah.
man.
during or after?
Like,
Or like what's he waiting for?
Like that's a sign of weakness, in my opinion. You just got tanked by a Makuta and thrown into your own minion who just aged you 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, so what does the book say? Like, does the book say weak specifically? Because right now we have on the wiki page like merciful and compassionate. Like, that's different than like.
That's a question to ask. What does the book officially say?
Okay, the first sign of weakness, the shadow pounces, defeats the ruler, and assumes the throne for himself. Brutal but necessary way to make sure that compassion and doubt never enter a ruler's heart.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so
I
his
guess,
job is to take over as leader.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
No.
A human wouldn't do that. An immortal robot wouldn't do that. His existence makes no sense.
I'm putting.
Although his powers are listed as unknown.
Yeah. I don't think I can go any higher than D for him.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
definitely a lot more useful than Amphibex, whatever one.
Amphibex.
Amphibex. Look,
Amphibex.
I will eventually remember that.
Hey, his powers are elasticity, according to our page, because he can bend and slither through minuscule places.
Mhm.
But again,
Anyways,
he is considered one of the most powerful Dark Hunters and able to take down the Shadow One if needed. But again, why? And also, why aren't you putting him up against all the Makuta? Whatever.
maybe
we're
he's
moving-
only stronger than the. He's said to be stronger than the Shadow One. We don't know if he's stronger than Makuta. So
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah, I
good
was
point.
gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure the Makuta can still beat all of the Dark Hunters.
So now we're moving on to Devastator, who was not in the Dark Hunters book. So we
Yeah, I'm gonna
had
say
to-
he's not here.
Nope, he was in the Brickmaster magazine from the issue of May through June 2007. So no doubt this was one of the other contests that they gave out.
Not
Or-
canon outside of America.
There you go. So Devastator is a tall and intimidating Dark Hunter originating from the realm of Karzani and reported to have emerged from a fiery crag in the barren landscape of the island. Because of his shadowy home, he quickly embraced his dark side and used his powers to destroy anything that caught his attention. Well, that's a nice guy. Eventually, the Dark Hunters got a hold of him, gave him the codename Devastator, and he was one of the ones that also ended up on the island of Metro Nui for the many deaths of Toa-2 yet. Though I believe at that point he was just kind of like the fall guy. Yeah.
Well, that story also didn't make any sense.
So he has the ability to transmute his body into particles of sand and to disappear into the ground to ambush his adversaries or escape. I mean, that's not a bad power. It's not a great power.
Yeah, it only gets you like a third of a Spider-Man movie.
No, half of that on top of that. He has a tendency to rain boulders on a target with his mind before attacking, evidence of apparent telekinetic powers. Okay.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Power-wise,
minimum B.
that's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I'd give him a B.
I give him a B.
Mhm.
It's
He's
not
got a cool
bad.
design. I mean,
Not
he's big.
great.
He's a big boy.
All right, moving on to Dweller. I know one of us has a lot of opinions on that. Go ahead, Kazian.
Yes.
Wait, what? I thought it was Spirit.
That's the joke. So Dweller is a stealthy Dark Hunter and one of the organization's most effective spies. He is permanently assigned to Metro Nui, and he was basically there for like 1,000+ years just watching. That's pretty much what he does.
He just stands there and watches.
Standing there menacingly.
Exactly.
Exactly. He also has the ability to reach out and scan minds of others, gathering information from hundreds of minds for his reports. He could take this further to drive them insane with nightmares or to screen himself from the minds of others. He has a sadistic personality, secretly tormenting others with nightmares simply to entertain himself. Gee, I wonder where he got that idea from, Spirit.
That must have been from Nathan Pavich, the guy who actually made this.
Extremely loyal to the organization, Dweller's dedication enables him to wholeheartedly devote all of his time and effort into completing his mission. You know what? I know everybody from the Matoran universe escaped the giant robot, but I would like to think Dweller would have been the only one to just kind of sit there on the ground, cross-legged with his arms, and just go, no.
They'll be back. Just you wait.
They came back once, they'll be back again. And I will be right here to poison their minds again. otherwise, he doesn't really do much, does he?
I think you will
He
find
also
that.
kind of goes out like a punk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
well, yeah, there's that.
He gets gacked off screen by Brutaka and then just like chucked unconscious somewhere.
Well, he's got the ability to escape perception, and then what was it, like 2008? All of a sudden, everyone is like a master level telepath. Oh, I detected your thoughts, trying to enter my thoughts. Now I know exactly where you are. Now you're in jail.
Mhm.
Yeah, literally right here. Before Takanuva could even reach Dweller, he was attacked by a Shadow Leech. Which, by the way, can we top and point out that actually made more canon sense for your story at that point? For your PSA?
Yeah.
I
Well,
was that written after that scene?
it was. No,
Okay.
wait.
Was it?
No, it was written before. But I thought that they were going to publish these stories in a book. Because if it's not in print, it's not real. This is my stand.
Well, either way, with his powers and all that.
Hey, hang
I
on, but
mean,
your story wasn't published in a book.
I know, so it's not real.
All right, that's fair.
There's no callbacks to it. It's not real.
there's
Okay,
callbacks
I'll
to that.
allow it.
I'm gonna say C tier because he does have a pretty powerful power, but he kind of gets tanked rather quickly.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
I mean, he is able to later escape the order, sort of. But again, he tried to use it against the Order Matsunui, and they just like, yeah, that does nothing to us. They punched him out. They captured him. They threw him in jail. But then he
kind of
escaped.
bad. He's kind of bad though. Well, I guess I don't know. C tier is kind of empty.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He's not Darkness and Airwatcher like redundant. He actually had a purpose, a very important one. It's just he's not great. All right, moving on. We have Eliminator, also known as Throwbot / Slicer Bot. Depends on which one you grew up with.
Yeah, this guy's great.
Yeah.
This is the closest anyone's going to get to Toa Variki.
This
Ever.
is very true. This is very true. The Shadow One quotes, despite his sheer power, there is always the possibility that his comrades might join together in an effort to eliminate him. He is a Dark Hunter responsible for executing incompetent Dark Hunters. Oh, I forgot about that part. And yes, he does have the ability of shadow attraction and harnessing and releasing energy from Kanoka, as well as he harnesses the power, then unleashes that resulting energy in lightning-like blast from his razor sharp claws. You're not wrong. This is the closest to Variki we will ever get. Due to the nature of these attacks, the artificial intelligence of a biomechanical being killed by it would be damaged beyond repair and would be unable to be revived in the Red Star. Oh, that's yeah. I would say that's A tier.
Yeah, he's definitely high up there.
You do not want to be killed by this guy.
He can combine four Kanoka.
Yeah.
That includes reconstitutes at random, which is the most powerful thing to ever exist.
Yeah.
I'd put him in S. I think he's a good contender for S.
Okay. I do. Does anybody have any comments about that? Any?
Yeah, no, I dig it.
Okay. By the way, I will also like to point out that it looks like the Kanoka were photoshopped into the entry photo. If you look at the page again, those are definitely not being held in the
You're right.
Yeah.
It looks like it at least, but I'm looking at the fingers. It definitely looks like it was airbrushed in. That's actually not. Yeah, he's pretty powerful. All right, moving on to everybody's favorite Fire Dracax. I looked up the pronunciation of this one. Started off life as a Tomotoran from a landmass south of Metro Nui, and then got attacked by Viscerock Horde. Only then, on top of that, he falls into a pool of energized Protodermis. Somehow he survived and transformed.
Energized Protodermis.
And now he seeks revenge on the Viscerock. So that's why he joined the Dark Hunter.
Also now uses a code name. That's his actual name.
Yeah, I'm still wondering how all that happens because, like, I don't know. I was in the trivia of one of them. I think it was Conjurer. Like, it listed a name that was included for him. So, like, I'm wondering
I think
if
that we got that from any members that were VZ Power or similar that announced what the name was.
I guess.
Anyway, so he was assigned to hunt Viscerock on an island where they believed to be staying, possibly accompanied by some other Brotherhood agents, and that's in the Dark Hunter's book. So he basically goes around and he's hunting Viscerock. He is Honestly, at that point, he's no different than a bug exterminator. Is he powerful?
What does he do for the Dark Hunters?
He's literally just hunting down Viscerock. That's all he does.
I guess so. Like he's like on their side for the war, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So after he left the island and returned to Odina, for occupying Zaya and with the other Dark Hunters, that was the whole part of the Order of Matsunui war with the Brotherhood. So the Brotherhood and the Order of Matsunui went to war, and he joined up with the Brotherhood, I guess. But eventually, obviously, all the Viscerock were drawn to Artidax, and that's where they used the heart of the Viscerock, and they just kind of all explode. So he's out of a job until Kuda recreated the Viscerock.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Is he actually one
D
for
tier feels? No, give him D.
Yeah, I didn't want to put him in F because he does have some pretty cool designs for him. Both versions, to be honest. I think the one that they posed him in is a better design for them.
I think it's more like bionically. I think the other one is maybe a little too not that, but yeah.
For the reference, that's what he looked like according to the or the mock creator. This is what he's supposed to look like.
All those rubber
I think it's
bands,
absolutely wild that they just had you mail in your Bionicle sets to this contest.
Oh, I know. That would never fly today, in my opinion. All right, moving on. We have Gatherer.
I don't like this one. His design is way too complicated.
Yeah, Gatherer is a little bit.
He has Tahu bodies for feet.
That part doesn't make like any sense.
He is listed as a well-armored Dark Hunter. His whole gimmick is he was an Onumatoran at first, and then eventually got into the way of a Dark Hunter operation and taken to their base. And that's when they forcefully persuaded him to become a Dark Hunter. What? Why? What? So he's Stockholm syndromed into becoming a Dark Hunter. That there's no other way to say that. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I kind of like the tragedy of it all, right? Like, the Shadow One is pretty amoral. He'll take anybody. And, obviously some of these guys maybe don't make sense as to why they joined up in the first place. But, like, I like the idea of, being tricked into doing it.
Mm-hmm. He did it for the lulz.
Yeah. Apparently, he only has control over subterranean Rahi. That's his whole gimmick. But also being super armored like that. Obviously, he's not... I mean... Okay. I would like opinions because otherwise I'm almost tempted to put him in F. Is there any reason to not put him in F?
He's got lots of powers, but like there's no theming to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like his one power is control over subterranean Rahi, and that's like kind of pairs with his
weapons and stuff.
History as an Onumatoran. He's got weapons, but like weapons are different than powers.
Yeah, he's got a Kanoka launcher, a blade, an energy cannon, and another blade/shield. His only real power that they've given him, other than the connection to subterranean Rahi, is he was modified so he would not need food or sleep. I mean, that's a very powerful thing, but I like to eat, so.
Yes, my favorite superpower, insomnia.
Yeah, that's the other thing. When he successfully completes a mission, he takes a piece of his enemy's armor and adds it to himself, gradually building himself from a Matoran into what he is today.
Which is a cool explanation for why he looks a complete mess.
Yeah. So he defeated 2 Toa of Fire and decided those are boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with F or maybe D.
Yeah.
He's also been looking for the Order of Matsunui, but doesn't even know anything about them.
Yeah. He wanted to obtain information on the Order of Matsunui, an organization previously unknown to the Dark Hunters, which could have potentially been an enemy.
Like,
and then the Order of Matsunui actually revealed themselves to the Dark Hunters, so his whole mission moot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then they revealed, and then it's like, hey, we'll make an alliance. Okay.
It's funny. I mean, I don't know. Spirit, you keep saying like, if it wasn't written in a book, it didn't happen. But like, so many of the serials, the story serials, just like absolutely undo anything that happens in these books for the sake of like to keep the plot moving, and it's kind of sad.
It is.
Yeah, that's also a bit annoying. But like, also, if it was published on Bionicle.com or BionicleStory.com, I will accept those as canon.
Yeah.
Everything else, though.
everything else. All right, we're going to move on to Gladiator. Gladiator is a large, hulking dark hunter and former Boba Fett starship of stealth.
And boo.
That
He's
was a
big.
joke that went over everybody's head, and I'm sorry.
Yep.
No, I got it. It was bad.
Yeah. He was an entertainment fighter living on the island of Stealth. However, during a fierce battle, he lost control and went on a rampage. Oh no. So he's brutally strong and has a passion for war. His primary weapon is his strength. He also possesses incredible speed and maneuverability. And they gave him a bunch of razor sharp claws. Okay, so he's just another brute.
This entry is so interesting.
Uh-huh.
So, this book predates the existence of the word stealth.
Mm-hmm.
It just says the island home of Sidorak and Kreka.
Yep.
Also, 2 people entered this.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I guess they were probably brothers then.
Possibly. Yeah, most likely.
Or cousins, who knows?
Nathaniel and Zachary Sager, nepotism.
No, it's Sager. So
Anyway, so 3,500 years ago, he traveled with the fellow Dark Hunters, Triglac and Devastator, to take out Tuyet to get the Nui Stone. So he was part of that story as well. So, I mean, okay, so he is extremely strong. He has razor sharp claws, and that's just used to fight his enemies, not even to kill them, just to fight them.
This is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I kind of like the. No, go. Sorry, go on.
One of his main things is that he just looks intimidating.
That's. I would say that's D tier. Just saying.
That's generous. I'd be fine with it being an F.
No, I like. I mean, I like the whole. Like he is a gladiator. He's an entertainment fighter. He is, very specifically put there to put on a show. Why that makes him a good dark hunter, no clue. But I like the backstory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good backstory.
Good backstory. He good soldier. I don't think he'd be very good Dark Hunter. That's how I would see it that. All right, moving
That's
on.
Unlike the Ampha backstory.
Moving on, we have Guardian, who is a former Dark Hunter, because unfortunately he was killed on a mission and revived to the Red Star. So we're now encountering our first dead revived character on this list. I think the only one, to be honest, but you never know. So,
But I mean, like when the book came out, he wasned dead.
Yeah, he wasn't
That
dead.
happened during 2009.
He's a Dark Hunter who was tasked with keeping the Dark Hunter's secrets safe. So he is literally the kind of like the mystery keeper of the Dark Hunter. So he's a cynical individual who is used to making difficult decisions. During Pterodax's reign, he lacked the Toa's hope of ousting Pterodax from his position as Great Spirit and wondered if the Resistance should instead just turn their efforts to escaping the universe. Okay, so he's also a coward.
He was right, though.
I mean, you're not
But
wrong.
he was right.
Yeah.
just being pragmatic.
Yeah. Obviously, so he was eventually. So the ground controlled by Pterodax opened up beneath him, and the stone itself reached up, grabbed him, and pulled him underneath, thus killing him.
But he has earth and stone power.
Yeah. And yet, there he is, being swallowed up
I
by
guess
the earth and
for
the stone.
irony.
Also, his job is to kill captured Dark Hunters so that they don't reveal their secrets. They don't have any secrets.
Yeah, during the organization's war against the Brotherhood. So if Dark Hunter was captured, it was his job to go kill them before they reveal any secrets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I like the idea, but I mean, it's like what secrets, right? Well, I mean, like the location of the place.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It
but
makes more
that's
sense
not
than
that
darkness.
complicated. I mean, any Makuta that captures a Dark Hunter is going to already blab that information anyway, without even opening their mouth. It's in their mind. So unless his job is to go in before any Makuta shows up and then slaughter them
Yeah,
underneath their...
that's true,
It
because
just
like
doesn't...
Makuta have telekinetic abilities, so
Yeah.
that really, just doesn't, or telepathic
makes no
abilities, so yeah, that
sense.
does not make a lot of
Yeah.
sense. You're right.
Because also, mind shielding hadn't been invented yet.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. Nope, that's fair.
Moving on, we have the second of the Skakti. This is Hakan. Fun fact, this is actually one of Stuart Sager's favorites.
He's good. I put him in S.
Really? Yeah.
He can shoot lava at people.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need. He doesn't even need to like combine his powers. He has a lava launcher. That's
Yep.
what it says.
Yep. And
He has a little Lego lightsaber.
Yeah.
In his gun.
I'm also going over. Yeah, he has the desire to control pure fire. Period. Stop without having to team up with anybody.
He's got
His
heat vision. He's got
vision
mental blast.
power.
I like that everything is like themed, right? Like
Yeah.
some of the other Paraka have like weird, crazy powers that don't match like the elements at all. But like pretty much everything that Hakan has is themed around fire.
I
That's
also
good.
appreciate that after using the vision power, his eyesight's temporarily weakened, which is really a good way to balance off not blasting everybody every 5 minutes.
Yep.
10
Oh,
minutes.
except for the mental energy. Forgot about this one.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
also
that
had the
one's
power to
weird.
create devastating mental blasts which attack an enemy's mind instead of their body. I think he used that against Zaktan at one point.
No, at one point he like uses it against a herd of Kikanalo, but then Greg wrote it wrong, and then it just like wipes them out instead.
Oof.
So that part's not great.
Well, I'll go ahead and put him up in S for now. I mean,
Yeah.
Because he does have the lava launcher. That is probably the most devastating tool on this entire roster thus far. Like, even the Shadow one would have a difficult time with him if not for building up his air of mystery and like, all that. All right. Moving on. We have, oh boy. Welcome back to the Hordika Dragons.
Terrible, awful.
Yeah. 8 Hordika dragons are dark hunters mutated by Hordika venom.
Why are there 8? Why do they all look the same? How did any of this happen?
I know. I'll feed my soldiers to spiders. What could go wrong?
Yeah, they captured a group of Viscerock. They had the venom analyzed, and then they tested the venom's property on 8 of the dark hunters, which all apparently looked the exact same, and then mutate them all into beings known as Hordika Dragon, which all look the exact same. He then used the Hordika Dragons to force his client to abide by their deal. So not only that, now he's literally being used as a mob boss's pit boss. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know, the
Oh.
powers are lame too, like enhanced speed, strength, tracking senses. Like, okay, going back to,
Yeah,
being
and the
a
controllable
triathlete
natural
there.
electric current, that's not horrible.
But like controllable how? Like, can you zap people with it? Is it only when you poke people can you then zap them? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They can only electrocute things they touch.
Also, apparently, becoming Hordika mean you naturally get Rotuga no matter what. So, why would anybody turn them into Hordika? Why don't you just stab them if they're going to have a weapon to use against you later? It makes no sense.
The Shadow one just felt like it.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We now have another member of the Darkers, because of course, technically the Hordika Dragon were servants. Let's clarify. So I have put them in the list as well. We're now introduced to Chronicall. Chronicall is the result of an experiment performed by Makuta Pterodax where he exposed a Krata to the same substance that was used to transform Krana into Chronicall. The result was a being of much higher intelligence than the average Krata with a wider array of powers. So basically, it's just a Krata, but on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently has powers over fire, water, and shadow. Like, so does that mean he was... What does that make him at that point? Was he a fire resistance Krata at one point? How did he get these other powers?
Magic.
Yeah.
Well, and
Right.
like, it makes him, I mean, I guess it made him super smart. So like that's the same thing that happened to the Borok cow, right? So like it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, just like, yeah, what are all these other things they got going on here? No, also terrible.
So in spite of the fact that Krata are creatures of pure shadow, Chronicall apparently does possess a small amount of inner light as a result of mutation. Citation is from an official Greg dialogue post on PC Power.
Okay. I guess that could make sense when you consider, the relationship the Corona have with the Borok, and Borok themselves were former Avatorids, so maybe that's how the light got into him?
Yeah. It's funny. He mentioned that only because he's like, somebody had asked about what happens if a shadow leached onto Krota Call, and Greg said he does have some inner light in him, so yeah, it would be attracted. It would definitely affect him. Okay, why?
Cool, man.
So otherwise,
but does that mean the same for like the Chronicle? Like, do they have inner light?
yeah, right.
They should. I mean, they should be. They're technically not evil. It's
Yeah.
Now we know
They're
what.
just kind of mean.
So
They're just
here's the other
Yeah,
thing: he was
mean.
later loaned to the Dark Hunters by the Brotherhood, and he enjoyed his work there so much that he decided to defect. So that tells me that absolutely he would have been fighting the Brotherhood tooth and nail once that war came up. Correct? How effective would he have been, though? I'm saying C because he's got a cool backstory, but he's otherwise.
I think his backstory is lame. Stick him in D.
Uh,
Anybody else?
he's got 3 elemental powers. That's pretty good.
He has 2 obviously very good and powerful elemental powers, and then also on top of that, Shadow, which is only about 4 members of the Dark Hunters actually control Shadow to a degree. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll put him at the beginning of D. Is that fair to everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Kreka. Oh boy. Here we go. So on top of
He doesn't even get his own page in the book.
No, he doesn't. So
It's weird they chose to like
because
omit Nadiki
they
and
put them
Kreka,
together,
like,
didn't they?
Yep.
So we'll start with Kreka, powerful albeit unintelligent member of the Steltian Bruisier species, and a Dark Hunter. So we officially have 2 different classes of species on the same island: Kreka species and Sidarok species, and that's all we've got. So I don't even want to even begin to talk about that part today. So Kreka obviously began Dark Hunters. It was paired with Dendiki because the Shadow One knew that Kreka was super loyal and didn't trust Nadiki farther than his arm could stretch. So he decided to pair him up and be like, look, you get paired with a dumb, bumbling idiot, and meanwhile, you get paired with a guy who's going to run off in the next 5 seconds. They both kind of go out.
That's called parenting, baby.
Honestly, he does get a lot of good licks in during the movie, but otherwise he does kind of go out pretty badly, and he doesn't really do his task very well of stopping the Toa Metru. They do stop Lacan, which is nice.
He can also fly. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Apparently he flies.
We try and block that from our memories.
He flies now. I'm going to say C, B.
I think B.
B is okay.
Because
Because he is a very, very powerful Dark Hunter, and arguably the fact that he was allowed to keep his name, that's already a tier up on some of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm
minus
assuming it's 'cause he
Amphibiex.
too stupid to remember his code name, but
Right.
Your name is Mr. Thompson. Yes.
There's one bit of history for Kreka. He actually tried to turn away Makuta Goras, sending her through a wall and starting a fight between the two, which is how he lost his right eye.
Ah, yes.
He
You know
does
what?
have a good history.
That's a very good history. Of course, the movie doesn't think about the eye thing. It does, but it doesn't. All right, moving on. We are finally on basically the third in command of the Dark Hunters, Lariska. Another Dark Hunter who basically has her own name. But, hoo boy, there's a lot to unpack with her. Anybody would like to start?
I think she's dumb and I don't like her.
Wow.
Go on.
Okay, well, that's a take.
No, I mean, like she doesn't like do anything. Like she exists. Like, somebody was like, "Oh, you should probably add a female character." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna write this female character who's like super sneaky and super stealthy and like stabs things." And it's just like you could have had Rudaka in this. So you didn't have to make up a brand new character who doesn't do anything.
Especially because Rudaka eventually becomes a Dark Hunter or something.
Yeah, temporarily.
Yeah, it's weird. So Lariska is a fast and agile acrobatic who does not like to rest, preferring to just keep moving around. She's been known to spontaneously start doing somersaults and backflips. So she has restless leg syndrome and ADHD. I could tell you that right there. She can be very quiet when hunting, and she has senses so cute that she was able to detect Nidiki even when he was using the Gnohi Volatok.
That's a bit broken.
That is a little broken, considering that's literally the mask that's supposed to keep you from being heard. And yet there she is going, yeah, no, I can hear you. As she was the one that also convinced Nidiki to betray the Toa, she felt responsible for what happens to him, which is nice. You know, that's sweet. She has a little compassion, though, again, as we've learned from Darkness, that can be dangerous, so why didn't he go after her at that point?
Probably, maybe she's strong enough to hold him off or something.
Apparently, the Shadow One noted that Lariska is a Dark Hunter whom the other hunters fear. He cites this fact when he asked Lariska to run the organization in his absence, and of course, she asked him, why me? And the answer is because the Dark Hunters are afraid of you, and you are afraid of me.
But like we keep getting told that we don't ever actually see it. Like all of her accomplishments happen off screen, even in Federation of Fear, where she shows up. Like she doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
She gets
that's
knocked
true.
out by Trencrom at one point.
Yep. Her
You know what
biggest.
they say? Tell, don't show.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the first rule of writing right there.
absolutely. Eventually, as Pterodax took over the universe, that's where Lariska and Guardian were part of a small team led by Tahu. That's a team that existed. And yeah, that was where Makuta killed Guardian and gave the others a choice: return to Metro Nui with the Exotoa surrounding them, or die. Onua arrived a minute later and took care of the Exotoa, so she literally did nothing. There was also the fact that she was another member of the Federation of Fear. Remember that story?
No.
Yeah. Some sort of what's it called? Suicide Squad? I can say that.
Honestly, she's kind of mid.
Yeah, C feels fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like her character
funny
as
people.
described is amazing.
Mhm.
Her character as portrayed is mid. I'm just
Yeah, which is funny because we on our trivia page it mentions that she's Greg's favorite Dark Hunter.
yeah.
Yeah, because he like came up with this like super cool, super. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
I really don't care at this point.
Cool. I mean, it's a super badass character, and like he's just like right now these days like she's so cool, and then just doesn't do anything with her. So she exists.
Yeah,
And
might have been
more-
his
more
favorite
in
Dark
Greg's head
Hunter.
than anything else.
Might have been his favorite Dark Hunter. Didn't really know how to write her. That's the problem. Moving on.
Does she ever talk to Gali? Does she ever help the series pass the Bechdel test?
I think she talked
Does
to
she ever- I
Rudaka.
feel like-
Remember that moment she
yeah,
talked with
yeah, she
Rudaka?
does. She does. But was
But
it about a
which
man?
kind
It was.
of
It was.
man?
It was about Nadiki. Probably.
It was about
so
Nadiki, probably.
Does not pass the Bechdel test.
No.
Okay. Oh dear. So wait a minute. So if Gorast and Gali were talking during the 2008 storyline about anything else, that passed, right?
I guess they talk about fighting each other.
Yeah, they talk about fighting. Now, unless they brought up Tahu at any point, at which point it all gets thrown out. At this point, I think we've gotten past quite a lot of them. I think we should rapid fire, do you think? Try to get through them as fast as possible here. Obviously, we'll take a little time on some of the big ones, but for like, say, Lurker here, do we really need to talk about anything other than, yay, he's sadistic?
He doesn't even have any powers.
Yeah.
Instant F.
Oh, yeah. Are you just saying anybody that doesn't have any natural powers just instant F for now?
I just as a general rule, like there's so many powers and you got nothing.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, he requested several blades of Sting armaments as his only tools when he joined the Dark Hunters. Okay.
He also doesn't participate in online forums.
Oof. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Mimic. Dark Hunter with the ability to imitate others. The Shadow One is quoted saying, "There's nothing quite as magical as friendship, or so I've been told. It can make one being risk everything." That's a line that I just whatever. And take foolish chances with little hope or reward. It can also make someone incredibly easy to manipulate. Mimic is an example of the latter. Oof.
So yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Because of him
not
spending
not
most
my
of his life
favorite.
with, spent most of his life with a female companion of his native island. And that's when he apparently learned how to use his power. It allows him to duplicate any feat he saw, and then the companion disappeared. And I think it turns out the Shadow One kidnapped her.
hmm
Yep.
Yeah, the companion is captive within the dungeon of the island. Okay. So as a Dark Hunter, I mean, he has photographic reflexes. He can perform any feat. So basically, he is every Dark Hunter at least once.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
is
mean,
he
it
just
reminds me of the Calyx, where you can like perform things that
If
like
he's
physical
literally
I don't- oh,
every,
I would put him way lower. Ugh, no.
you don't think so? If he could be every
No.
single Dark Hunter, he could be the Shadow One if you wanted to.
Well,
I mean,
it
like,
says any type of physical feat, so I
Oh,
assume
yeah.
it's just limited to that.
I'll put him at B.
yeah,
Then.
he can't copy powers. No, I don't know. I'd put him lower, but whatever.
C maybe.
Yeah.
See,
Sure.
yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
Okay.
he's pretty bad.
Okay.
Also,
Minion
his design is
should have
terrible.
been a servant, but we have Minion. Minion is a creation of the Brotherhood of Makuta who fled and joined the Dark Hunter. Quote, I do not know if he was rendered mute by the Brotherhood's work or simply keeping his secrets, but I have no doubt a wealth of knowledge is hidden in his bestial brain. Someday I must find a way to extract it, even if the brain must come with it. His only power is to detect Makuta.
Does he not have does the Shadow One not have someone who can read minds?
He has at least 3 characters that can deal with Makuta like that. So, Mini is pretty mid, if not lower.
He's always talking about bananas, following around Steve Carell. It's a bit annoying.
Yeah.
Can't understand a word he's
Oh,
saying.
I should have
and
made
yet
the
somehow
I
got
should have
his
made
own
the
movie.
icon yellow. I should have. It's probably for the best I didn't.
Well,
Any other thoughts on him? Are we good?
so this with this, we only knew of him before we heard all about the mind shielding stuff. So
Yeah, and again, that just makes him even more mid because what is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to not read the Order's mind?
Yeah, like he also doesn't have any powers.
Yeah, all he's there for is, hey, talk about your secrets with the Brotherhood.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I put him in F. Like,
Yeah,
you
Like-
need powers to be out of F.
yeah, you're right. I mean, his power is Makuta detection, so I'm gonna say he's definitely the highest F so far. Will you agree with that?
Detection, they're like giant tornadoes of evil.
Yeah, well,
You did it. You detected them. Great job.
all right. Next up is Nidigi, former Toa of Air, and then decided one day, actually, maybe Lariska had a point. And if love were canon, I'm pretty sure he would have done it out of something of that nature.
He's
saying.
weird.
He is very weird.
So he gets mutated, can fly, shoot energy. There's no logic to that.
Yeah. His only real power is his force bolts, because he loses basically his elemental powers. And then he could fly, which I guess may be derived from the elemental powers. And
That's
he could also
it's
shoot.
'cause Kraka can fly.
He could also apparently
Yeah.
shoot Kanoka from his mouth, which
Blech.
that's not really something that they described in.
I don't understand like why he
Movie.
gets kept around at all. Like he doesn't get mutated in anything like good or interesting or have any useful powers. Like what?
Yeah, no.
Like,
If anything,
how hard up are you for employees, my dude?
I'm gonna say mid C. In fact, no, Lariska is technically higher than him.
yeah, that's a good point.
He's still better than Mimic, but only just because he actually can do something powerful.
Yeah, well, plus he got the crap beaten out of him by Kraka. So
Yeah.
that's a good place for him to be.
Good place for him. Okay, next up is Phantom. This one is another one of those Dark Hunters that was created for the Dark Hunter building contest, given the story Orion role, was cut from the book. Thus, he's only mentioned in a dedicated entry to Bionicle Encyclopedia Updated. So we don't have a photo of him. So officially, he was a Matoran, previously a member of the Ninra Ghosts, and eventually they they said they needed a hero. Toa didn't come to their island, so they put him together and made him an experiment, including energized protodermis. And they gave him new powers and abilities. So he has strength, limited flight, enhanced eyesight, and invisibility.
This is very similar to Gatherer.
And Gatherer is basically right there. But the difference is he does have actual power. So I would put him about C.
Yeah, that's fine. I just mean his story is very similar.
Eventually, of course, the Matoran of the island were frightened of him and they shunned him. So that's when he went to the Dark Hunters. But he doesn't get put on very many missions because he still actually has a conscience. So there you go.
Nerd.
I mean, it's funny that after the mutation, he's still a good guy. He's just chosen to go with the Dark Hunters because of how he looks.
Yeah.
Which I
All
mean,
right.
like, makes him an interesting, like, kind of counterpoint to Nadiki, because Nadiki was only evil. Well, he was evil beforehand, but then he stayed evil because he was ugly. So there's a moral in there somewhere.
All right,
It'll be
so
ugly.
moving on to Poison. Poison basically is your... I mean... Okay. Who does Poison remind you of immediately? As characters go.
I don't know. Airwatcher.
Yeah. Yeah, who are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Zyglak.
Oh, kinda, yeah.
Yeah, the colors.
Like-
Yeah, I can see it in the colors.
Come on. Zyglak. Poison. So there's enough similarity in the approach. Obviously, different species altogether, but
Say
similar
so,
enough.
man.
Yeah. The
Point is,
makes sense.
bestial
He
dark
was-
hunter. The majority of poison species, so therein lies another thing. This is another unnamed species. Were wiped out by the Matoran, and poison have grown to hate them. Sound
That's
familiar?
pretty bad if the Matoran can kill you.
Sound very familiar?
Yeah.
You know, the Zyglak, a reptilian species accidentally created by the Great Beings and shunned by the Matoran.
So his abilities are spitting paralyzing venom,
Mm-hmm.
yet also his other ability is that he can stun people with his tail. What more do you want? That does the same thing.
No. F. He's not immune to his own venom. It's the lamest thing in the world.
Yeah. He's still better.
He can kill someone if they're
still better than
untreated for an
Minion.
hour.
He's still better than Minion.
I put him in D.
Would you put him in?
Alright, fine.
Okay, yeah. Low end D. All right. Primal. This is the part where I remind you that Primal is indeed Dark Hunter created by former BC Power Administrator P. Cal. Wherever you are, Peter, I do miss talking to you. Just saying. You're not watching this. But if you are, the Discord's open. Anyway, Primal, strong-willed and troublesome Dark Hunter. He hails from a tribe whose land was ravaged by the Viscerock, yet another Viscerock victim. He led a small band of survivors against the spider-like Rahi, and then the Shadow One later recruited the warriors of the band, and then betrayed the location of them to the remainder of to the group of the Viscerock. So, okay, first of all, dick move. Just saying. Anything else?
We run into the problem of him not really having any powers.
True.
He has a paralysis device.
Which is that?
I don't.
I think that's that device basically on his crotch. Look.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it looks like.
The codpiece stinger was definitely a choice.
And then the staff piece, of course, just kind of exists.
Like D.
I mean,
D is fine.
mid D, because
Sure.
he is still, useful. Because he's also a tactician and has great agility and strength, and he does have no powers. However, oh, and here's the other thing that kind of hurts his thing. Like Gatherer, he loves to collect trophies for his hunt. Well, we know where Gatherer went, so he's just Gladiator, or he's just Gatherer, but better. Next up, Prototype. Oh, is Prototype who I think it is? He's a slow yet strong Dark Hunter. Yes, he is the fusion of a Toa of Earth and a Toa of Fire. About to say, I literally made his icon red and black. So of course, why did I say air? Because of the Dark Hunter background. Fun fact for anybody looking at BS01, if you ever look, yeah, the Dark Hunter's template is all green. Anyway, so he's basically just them, but he has limited power over both fire and earth, and near invulnerability. I'd say that put him at C.
I'd be okay with B.
B? Anybody else disagree?
No, B is fine. It's got a cool design.
Yeah, cool design. The organic parts have almost completely disappeared at that point, so he's mostly machine at that point. So that's why he's near invulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Shadow One uses him as target practice when he's not on assignment. Basically, if a novice Dark Hunter survives their encounter with him, they're allowed to start working for him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, B is perfectly fine then.
Yeah, sounds like a good role.
Yep. Another servant, but this one is a debatable one, the Rahi Nui. According to, and this is true, this is the Encyclopedia Updated, the Rahi Nui was a being created by Makuta Pterodax for the sole purpose of serving Nadiki and Kreka as a tracking beast. So they basically used it as a pet to hunt down and kill Toa.
Does it ever get used for that though?
Technically, yes, it's used in Maze of Shadows in that purpose.
I mean, it shows up, but like it's never seen with the Dark Hunters or anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because at
some
those
point
people are dead.
during his long time spent traveling around the universe, Lezovic actually did encounter it and was able to defeat it, and then was teleported to the underground lair beneath Matanui following the ascent of the Toa Metru. So apparently it has teleportation powers that I didn't know about. I mean, again, it is mostly a Brotherhood of Makuta.
It has all the powers of the Kanoka.
Oh, was it what it was? Well, okay. It also is it combined elements from various species: the head of a Kanra, the body of Mawaka, stinger of a Nui Jaga, enlarged wings from a Nui Rama, and the arms of a Terakava. It could stretch its neck just like the Mawaka and Kanra, and it was usually quadrupedal, but it could stand on its hind legs to attack with the arms. Okay. And yes, it possessed all 8 of the standard Kanoka powers. So
it's pretty good.
As a pretty good character, where does it rank as a Dark Hunter?
Wait, but hold on, there's another note. However, it lost all these abilities when its molecules were dispersed by the Toa Metru and did not regain them when it reformed. So, do we rate it before or after?
That's a good point.
That's a good question. If it could retain them, I would say it's easily an A.
Mm-hmm.
If it
at its peak, because like Conjurer is in a coma, and he gets to be at C tier.
That's true.
Technically, he should be an F tier.
Yeah, well, technically, he shouldn't even be on the list because he's technically, yeah. Well, by that same technicality, we shouldn't even have who was it that we said it was
Nadiki?
Guardian?
Well, Nadiki is dead, so he should have been F.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the Rahi Nui, like apparently Lesovic beat him at some point in the past. So like I don't know. Like,
after it lost. That's after it lost all of its Kanoka powers.
No, that was before.
Maybe down to B.
All right,
because like it got beaten by the Toa Metru, and they suck.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is very true. And Vakama's thoughts says this beast is no simple Rahi. It served the Dark Hunters. It hunted and killed at there is no fear of Toa in its heart. To this creature we are prey. So that's what he was thinking as he was fighting in a Maze of Shadows. So he knew about it being part of the Dark Hunters for reasons.
And yet they still beat it.
Okay. I'm okay with B. Moving on, we have Ravager. Let's go look at Ravager. That might be an F.
But
he's a powerful Dark Hunter with no memory of his past.
But he automatically is as strong as any foe or obstacle. That's pretty broken.
Yeah, and he also has more venom, once again.
Does he?
Yeah, he has poison / venom.
Mm-hmm.
He has a stinger tail for reasons.
Poisonous. Okay.
The venom apparently burns like, quote, the bite of a million flyers.
Oh yeah.
And also he has a sword and shield.
Seems to be having an ability similar to Avak's mind prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also holds psychopathic urges, desiring the death and destruction of most beings and things he comes across. He does not respond
who
well to
doesn't?
inactivity, usually destroying his surroundings when he gets bored. As such, he is constantly kept active. I mean, I would say B, because that's pretty good.
Yeah, I could also see A.
I could see an A. Anybody disagree? No?
He destroyed a third of the Dark Hunter's base.
That is true. More importantly, I find it hilarious the Shadow One attempted multiple times to get the memories back so they could recruit more of that species.
I mostly just think the design is terrible and it's one of those like overpowered things, but fine, whatever.
High B. Let's just do high B. That should
Sure.
satisfy everybody. Okay. Next up we have Radak. Radak? Radak. That's what I thought. Skakti of Earth. Honestly, so his powers were thermal and infrared vision and an adaptation. Does he really get to use either of those abilities?
Yeah, doesn't he like fall off a cliff or something?
I mean,
How is that related to his vision powers?
No, to his adaptability. So what he has is Saiyan powers. If he can, whatever doesn't kill him makes him stronger. He can't be beaten the same way twice, which is very powerful.
that is true.
I'll give it to you. I mean, it's like not super well defined how it works, right?
Yeah. So
Well, like the magic prison, it's I put him in A.
I mean, I would put him in A. It's just or maybe the wiki actually explains. This
So,
to any non-fatal
first of all, he
physical
is
or
one of the
mental
physically
trauma.
strongest Paraka. As a hunter, he has excellent tracking skills assisted by his vision powers. He's felt he was strong enough to defeat any foe without having to resort to a lot of planning and trickery, and was very impatient. And I mean, that's definitely a negative to him. But yes,
the power extended to all components of his biomechanical body and made Radak forever immune to a particular type of attack he has encountered and survived at least once in his lifetime. Yeah, it's pretty OP.
Yeah, that's pretty OP. I would still say A tier because again, if he was more of a technician, he would be probably S tier.
Right.
I think that would be a fair assessment.
And appropriately, he's behind Avak, and Avak's ability is the only thing that could counter him.
Yes. Next up, Rudaka, who officially is not a Dark Hunter, but she was trained by
She
them.
was a hunter who was dark.
Yes, there's that too. 1,000 years before the Great Cataclysm, she traveled to Odina to receive some training from the Dark Hunters. I'm assuming this is before she officially joined the Brotherhood.
I can't remember. Her whole story is weird.
It is weird. So
Back
Shadow
and
One
forth,
refused
back
her
and forth.
request. She was then approached by Toa Nidiki, who offered to train her in exchange for helping her leave the Dark Hunters. That's when basically she then ratted him out to the Shadow One, and in exchange for training, she promised to keep Nidiki in the Dark Hunters. And that's when she hit him with her Rotuka, then mutate him. She was then aided by the Dark Hunters by mutating the Dark Hunter Silence with her Rotuka, and we'll get to Silence in 3 or 4, 5, whatever. As far as being a character, obviously she's a bit more OP than most of this list. But in terms of being a Dark Hunter, I'd say D. She really isn't. She really is not a Dark Hunter.
But she took out the Toahaga in one hit.
But she didn't do that as a
the
Dark
mutation, like it's.
I put her in S. Like mutation is so broken.
Yeah.
Permanent, irreversible mutation.
All right. I will put her in S tier. As a Dark Hunter,
and she learned how to control shadow powers. Like
that's right.
As a Dark Hunter, she was mid. But in terms of her power balance, yes, she definitely tanks this entire list.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess we are very cool, very what's the word? Sexy. That's the word. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Moving back in. Next up, we have Savage. Hopefully, I didn't forget anybody. Did I? Okay. Hold on.
I've seen Star Wars. It's pronounced Savage.
Ha. Did I forget another Dark Hunter? Where's?
Nope.
So Ravager and then Rhydak. Is that what we did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ravager's on B. Right. All right, Savage. Another Toa mutated by Hordika Venom because it was just fashionable back in 2005
I
to
mean,
use
it was 2005. Like, all
all
these
the
kind of,
Viscerock for
somewhat similar
everything.
backstories. Like, it doesn't bother me so much.
Yeah. Hey, okay, so paralyzing Rotuka, so already has a decent power. Has some tools like a Triclaw. So animalistic mutation, he's officially lost his ability to speak, can only growl and bellow. Apparently, he has a Rotuka that paralyzes opponents, and his tracking abilities are comparable to that of an energy hound. He apparently has the ability to track a mote of dust across a desert.
And can liquefy solid matter. He's pretty good, but because he's a little crazy, that might remove some points from him. I'd say C.
See? I mean, Mitzi, probably above Dweller. I could probably
Yeah, like he's useful. He's just a little.
a little psycho. Yeah.
Yeah. Animalistic.
Yeah.
And then the problem is, like, he's going to get worse as time goes on as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on to the next one. That would be Seeker. Seeker is a dark hunter and former servant for the Brotherhood of Makuta. Once again, seems to be pretty fashionable. Okay, so double checking. Has no powers, only has a seismic staff. Apparently, at one point he was involved with the Rahaga and the Mask of Light. Okay. So 1300 years ago, the Toahaga from Pterodax stole the Evoki. They were turned into Rahaga, cast out in the Brotherhood for failure to guard it. Seeker began a mission to seek out and reclaim the Mask of Light from the Rahaga and joined the Dark Hunters to do so. However, he's unsuccessful in his endeavor. So, yeah, that's a fail.
Mhm.
Yeah, he doesn't even have any powers.
It's no
He's got a nice
powers.
design, but he's just pretty
And more
lame
importantly,
otherwise.
he's still trying to track down the Rahaga and the Mask of Light.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what's going on. Like,
Literally, I
poor
could just
buddy.
almost imagine the scenario over on Spheres Magna. He passes by Takanuva and the Toahaga, and they're all just kind of celebrating and happy, and he's just like, I still got to find the Rahaga and the Mask of Light. He's F. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
His primary weapon is the staff, which can weaken an opponent and deliver seismic shots. We have literally so many other characters that can weaken opponents that it's just not worth it. All right, next up, another Dark Hunter technically should be considered a servant, but is a member. It's weird. This is Centrak. This was Shadow One's loyal bodyguard who was trapped in a state of between life and death by various experiments. So, let's just go over the powers, shall we? He has a multitude of powers. A darkness power, which allows him to cloak a desired area in an impenetrable sphere of darkness, to where not even a toe of light fire's flame could pierce it. Molecular transmutation, where he sends a stream of energy into a target, leading it to its transformation into a rock-like solid protodermis. The effects of the transmutation spread slowly through the likes of organic tissue, but less dense targets such as flames can be transmuted almost instantaneously. Do I need to go on? Should we just put him on S tier now?
Yeah.
He's got no mind, though.
Maybe not S. Maybe but maybe
Yeah, A
Yeah,
seems a
I agree
little
with
more
that.
fitting. I mean, he's very cool. He's got a good design. He's got some sick powers, but
yeah.
that whole not having any will of his own kind of.
And memory.
Yeah.
So basically, Shadow One had to retrain him again. So
Yeah.
that kind of limits it a bit.
So I will mention the only note of here is he sent the Shadow One sent Centrak to Voyanui to go kill the Paraka. After Voyanui was returned to its rightful place as part of the Southern Continent, he then returned to Odina. He was later forced to relocate to Zaya by the Rakshi. So he didn't really accomplish his mission there, but even then, he still built like a tank. So that's probably why he shouldn't be S tier. He kind of failed that one mission that he was told to go do. I think that's probably fair. All right.
Yep.
Next whoop. Shadow Stealer. This is a very fun character backstory-wise because this is the only character that we know of outside of like main characters to have been a member of the Hand of Artaka, which was the predecessor of the Order of Matanui. At one point, he was considered a hero before the first Toa was created. And yes, we have a citation on that in the Dark Hunters page. Eventually, though, after the Hand of Artaka disbanded, he joined the Dark Hunters in order to find a sense of purpose. So he has shadow absorption and teleportation via shadows, which is pretty damn useful.
They call this Umarak 1.0.
Yeah. I'm going to put him A tier myself because those are pretty OP powers.
But I mean, like, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily say how strong he is. But again, you know, the implication that he was a member of the Hand of Artaka means that he probably would be.
I'll put it this way.
Pretty
It was rumored that the
strong.
Brotherhood of Makuta actually attempted to hire another Dark Hunter just to eliminate him for fear of his mastery over shadows. He's got the Brotherhood of Makuta scared. Since the last group to have been eliminated by the Brotherhood of Makuta for that much fear was the entirety of the Toa of Iron race.
I guess that's fine. He just looks so dumb.
And he's managed to survive that. I think that's pretty damn OP. Yes, I recognize his appearance is not great, but I think for powers alone, he's pretty OP.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's supposed to be like an early robot, and he looks like a prototype.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. All right, next up is Silence. He's a Dark Hunter that specializes in abductions. Yikes. He has a sound dampening field ability, and he has double-edged blades, has a Kanoka launcher, and equipped with freeze discs. So he has the natural ability to create a field around him that deadens sound, which is what allows him to move so stealthily. This field will extend for approximately 3 feet around his body. That's 0.91 meters or 0.66 bio for those who do not want to do the conversions, which allows him to grab and capture targets without having them make a sound out.
So he's just quiet?
He's basically just quiet.
Yeah.
He creates a field around him of silence. So
But I mean, like,
he's a good ambusher, but I think that's
He's
honestly,
huge.
Yeah, I know that exactly. That's the problem. Like, I love the idea of like those powers and everything. It could be really interesting. It just like does not fit with the design.
No.
Yeah,
I've gone ahead and put him at the top of D because if that's all he's really good for, I mean,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, no, that's
again, he's a unilateral piece of equipment in the Dark Hunters arsenal. That's about all he does. And this is no disrespect. It's just, come on. If that's all you do, go to D. And the only reason why he's in D and not F is because he can actually do something. Next up, Spinner. Another former Toa of Air, who was... He was still a Toa. He and his Toa team fought against a group of mutated Rakshi. During the fight, he was thrown into an incredibly deep pit and then greatly injured. When the Dark Hunters found him, he was damaged so badly that they took him to be repaired. And that's basically what they turned him into. So he has air poisoning and vertigo instilling vision powers. I mean...
not that being repaired explains how he gets those, but whatever. Okay.
I mean, hey. Apparently, his only desire is to hunt Toa.
Yeah, classic Star Wars logic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think, since his injuries, he lost his elemental powers. Now the air around him, he can cause the air around him to become heavy and toxic, and he basically does not have like usefulness on stealth missions. He could also instill vertigo in an opponent through a glance of his eyes. I'm sorry, no, he's C.
I mean,
He's not great.
that's a decent power.
Vertigo's
but,
pretty
like,
powerful,
yeah.
yeah.
It is pretty powerful. I mean, that's why I didn't put
If
him
you
on
wanted
B.
to bump him up on C, I wouldn't argue with that. But C tier feels appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, no, I still think he's probably... Lariska is still a better hunter, I think. I'm honestly going to put Lariska at the top of C.
Also, I like that Spinner is now next to Nadiki because they have the same backstory.
Yeah. Who are you? I'm you, but slightly better. Next up, Subterranean. This was a very fascinating, not a great mock, I'm not going to lie. I'm not really reviewing the mocks because, again, they were built by children back in the day, but not a great mock.
Some of them were not children. I can judge this quality all day long. It's terrible. It was literally just 4 beams slapped together.
Yeah. Subterranean has the power to disassemble anything he touches. He can also temporarily hypnotize his opponents with a mere glance. In addition to these, his mutation enhances hearing to the point that even the slightest sound is painful to him. Oh, so he gets paired up with silence then, doesn't he? Like that's what it is. These two need to be paired up.
Disassemble things with the touch. That's so
Oh, so
vague.
yes, he's equipped with sound dampening armor, although he still avoids Toa Sonics whenever possible.
Mobilize enemies with a glance. That's not too bad.
What's interesting is, yes, he's an. I'm trying to figure out.
Do you still have the book, Spirit?
Yeah.
What does it say his vision thing is?
He is able to temporarily immobilize enemies with his glance.
Okay, we have hypnotize, which is different than immobilize. So maybe the
Ooh.
page
really
should
update the page for
be
that.
changed on that one.
Anyway, I would say probably C tier because I mean, the power to disassemble anything he touches, that might actually be B tier. Because what exactly are we talking about with disassemble anything he touches? Is it literally, could he just walk up and destroy like airships? Could he walk up and destroy like towers? Is there a limit on his power?
Yeah, can he do this to people?
Exactly. So yeah, I'm putting him up to B. I don't think he's quite A tier with that power, but as far as the mock goes, I mean that would be a lot lower. All right, next up, this is probably the fastest one we can definitely talk about. We have the Recorder. His job is to record everything that Shadow One says and does.
Oh, I thought he was to teach elementary kids how to play musical instruments.
He has the secondary ability of playing hot crust buns in a very, very poorly trained.
Yeah, why does he need to exist?
Yeah. Fun fact: I actually did learn how to play the Recorder back in elementary school, and my grandparents actually bought me my own because they didn't trust me using one of the ones that school had.
But here's the thing: they're robots, and they live in a technological world. Can they not just do a recording, like a digital recording?
That's a good question. So yeah, he kept track of everything. Also, the Shadow One was once recounting tales to the Recorder, who accidentally commented that the Shadow One was only second to Pterodax. The leader of the Hunters then threw the Recorder across the room in anger. The Recorder also got trapped through the dealings that took place under Larisco's command during the brief absence. So we didn't even get the record the better part of the story of the time trap. F tier.
Yeah, he's pretty lame.
Yeah, pretty lame.
I like the idea. I like the idea of this pathetic little dude who just like literally just to write everything down. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense in with everything that we know about the world.
Yeah.
They should have made him Kodan.
Yeah.
That would have been a better origin story.
Oh, that would have been
That would've been
good.
I'm putting him ahead of Minion because everything should go ahead of Minion, but like he's pretty bad. All right. Next up we have the third. We have Fuck.
The demonetizer.
Yeah. Absolutely. So abilities. He has Spellbinder Vision. He has object animation and control, and he has cold resistance. The cold resistance is whatever. But the other two have potential.
Canonically, he can bring a snowman to life. He is Elsa.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, damn it. Now you're going to make me have to edit that in.
Oh.
I could do it. I'm not going to. I could. Anyway, so his Spellbinder Vision, what exactly does that even encompass? That's the question.
See, Spellbinder Vision power disoriented opponents mostly to make them lose their balance.
Okay, so not impossibly broken. It's just, yeah. He also possessed the power to make inanimate objects come to life to serve him. He was immune to extreme cold, but weakened when exposed to extreme heat. A.
He's S. He can bring anything to life. Bring your enemy's sword to life and have it stab them.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's mostly just like a really, really good telekinesis, but like, you see it do a bunch of cool things. So like, I'm alright with this.
Didn't he bring the Paraka Fortress to life?
Yeah. He made it look like a giant stone dude. Yeah. He did a lot.
He's S.
All
I
right.
put him in S.
All right. If the argument is made that he is more powerful than we thought. Like, first of all, why didn't they take over the Dark Hunters in the first place? You have literally a character
They're
who
all
can
kinda
shoot
dumb.
lava. You have a character that could literally send the entire complex against you. You have a character that can imprison everybody. You have a character that can tank anything, and literally they're all being led by a character who could turn into 100,000 of himself. Like,
I mean, there's probably like an argument about, like
yet.
having a charismatic leader and, keeping people who are more capable and smart under his thumb just through manipulations and such.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe
whatever.
maybe they're just actually weak and we're just way overrating them.
We're probably way overrating them, but then again, so are they.
Well, something you want to consider. Avak was part of the Dark Hunters before some of the other Dark Hunters, so he was probably with the Shadow One, and that's why the other Paraka were kept in check by him, I would guess.
Yeah, perhaps. All right, moving on. We have a Tracker, or as we like to say, Maximus and Spinax before 2007.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
This is the same
Tracker's
set.
just a Dark Hunter with a
It is
hatred
kinda
for
funny.
Viscerock and of Rudaka. Oh dear. I see. So Tracker frequently changes the stories of his own origin, blaming both the duplicitous Rudaka's Rotuka mutation spinner and the Hordekan venom for his current state. So, yeah.
Editorially speaking, I would get rid of the word duplicitous from that Wikipedia page, not in the original text.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
Yeah, so he nearly killed the Vortex after locating her, but was held back by 3 other Dark Hunters because, well, I don't understand why. That would have saved so many problems in the long run. But that's beside the point. So his abilities are he can literally, first of all, he has a pet bull. That's arguably cute, but also, why a bull? Anyway, given a minute trace of the target in question,
bulldog,
Tracker and
maybe?
his bull.
Maybe it's a bulldog.
You know what?
Oh.
That's good headcanon. It's a bulldog.
Mhm.
So they can discover them despite their attempts to hide or run away. I mean, again, he's just a tracker.
Maybe that's how he got his name.
Let's see.
It
What
is
about the
pretty
bull?
OP, but not OP enough to be like up here.
Yeah, the bull's a lot better than he is.
Yeah.
The bull's
dissolve
horns have
anything on
power to
contact.
dissolve solid matter.
So
That's
he has
pretty
tremendous
powerful.
strength, and the bull's horns have the power to dissolve solid matter. Oh, okay. The bull should be the Dark Hunter. Let's just be honest here.
Hashtag
wonder-
justice for the bull.
Justice for the bull. Well, it's interesting because then you also have Charger, also a bull. A lot of bulls.
Lots of bulls.
And of
You know what?
This whole thing is a load of bull.
There we go. I'm putting them together because clearly they deserve to be together. He has a deep hatred of things related to Viscerock, blaming that branch of the brother of Makuta for his current appearance. Again, I understand it was 05, and there was a lot of whatever. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. Triglax. Triglax is a shapeshifter. Looks just like pretty much anything you want. Oh, gee, I gotta fix those.
Like Tongu for no reason.
Right? There we go.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
Lego
I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that retcon. I think I said that
Yeah.
during the time when we railed against the 2 yet. I like that it just kind of co-opted it back in.
I mean, it
Because
is cute. I
was in
chose-
charge of editing?
Yeah, I know. It's stupid. They should have put Centrax. They should have put Voparok. They could have put anybody up there. No, Kitongu. He could have put Rudaka on the cover and it would have made more sense. Anyway, Triglax, of course. So just the problem is shapeshifting, and that's all that Triglax does. Mid.
Yeah.
There is nothing else to that. If you shapeshift, but then also have the abilities of turning into these characters, like could you
Maybe
imagine?
D in that case.
What's that?
Because yeah, like if that's his only power, then maybe put him down to D.
I mean, that's all can be done by a Kanohi, right?
Yeah.
Like his only other appearance was during No One Gets Left Behind, where he turned into that Toe of Sonics. And yeah, he wielded the Toa tool for the Toe of Sonics, and that's it. Didn't really use it, didn't really do anything, couldn't use it. It's whatever. It's not a great character. Next up is Tyrant. Another former member.
Like this guy. I think his powers are pretty lame, but I think his story is very interesting.
Yeah. Another former member, and I'm not sure why he's former if he got kicked out.
Oh, he died.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm looking at it right here. So, at one point in the war, the Shadow One sent Tyrant with a group of Dark Hunters to confront Lacan and his Toa comrades. Unbeknownst to Tyrant, his companions had been ordered to abandon him when the fight began. Tyrant was soundly defeated by the Toan and disappeared beneath the waves of the Silver Sea, vowing vengeance on the Shadow One. However, he managed to survive.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Similar to the issues that I have with Conjure, this is something that like people have decided to put a lot onto. Like, you know, suddenly this guy is also a member of the Shadow One species for reasons.
Yeah.
Because he has a Rakshi head.
Yeah, no kidding.
I guess.
I mean,
But like, so like ancient, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then like the surviving thing, like that's not in the text, right? That's another canonization thing. He could have just as easily not survived. There's
yeah,
nothing
that was an
indicates that he
interesting
could survive.
discussion at one point of him surviving, but he was
Damn, so,
definitely kicked
what's the
out
point?
from the Dark Hunters. Yes.
Why does it matter whether or not he survived? If he's
so he
never
has-
ever going to show up in the story ever again.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He has power to
Be
absorb
mysterious.
heat, enabling him to reach dangerously high temperatures. He can then release that heat, creating a massive blast of heat. He can also use superheated air for levitation. His armor can equally withstand extremely high and extremely low temperatures. His left arm is also equipped with a blaster. I mean, that does put him in a mid-range. He can
I'd
actually
give him
do
a
things.
B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see a B.
I kind of liked how he broke the lore by his elemental power being heat, not fire. I thought that was a bold move.
Yeah, heat is a very interesting. Yeah. All right, next up.
Why does his background have Vizirek webs?
I don't know. Because 05. Or you know, wait.
Yeah, it's just the background stuff that they had.
Oh,
Maybe
hold
they
on.
thought like
So-
the green stuff was like the sea, and you know, because he fades into the sea when he gets defeated. I don't know.
I think it's just kind of random.
It's just failure random. Is that what it looks like in the book as well?
In the book, yeah, it's
That's what I thought.
some entries randomly have the Vizirek background.
What's even more interesting is the Dark Hunter image was mirrored. The image here has been flipped to the correct orientation because they later corrected after the encyclopedia updated. Just a little trivia fact. All right, next up is Vanisher, also known as Matatu, but with legs.
How much money did the person who made this spend? 4 purple Picari? What the heck?
I'm just pulling it up.
Well,
so everybody can
that's
see that.
that's only 2 Nui Jaga sets.
That's
That-
2 more
that
than I have.
Yeah.
All right, poor person.
And some Rama
Bro.
sets because of the white. Okay, no, those are also Nui Jaga. That's right. Yeah, that's
Also, I think
still
the purple Picari came in like one of those
Oh.
tubs, if I'm not mistaken.
perhaps, and also some Krana for the thigh there, just to kind of fill that out better. I appreciate
I
that.
mostly just love that this guy was bold enough to do the rubber bands on the mask. That was a choice, and it worked.
No,
Yeah.
that absolutely. That's probably what makes the mock just so much better. Is just having the 2 rubber bands to kind of give a detail. Never would have thought about doing that. Anyway, looking at his powers, he's a willful Dark Hunter suspected of working for the Brotherhood of Makuta. I think that's why I chose black for him as well. Okay. So he has the ability to open intra-dimensional gates. Already putting him up to 8.
Didn't remember this. This is really very powerful now that we know what the Olmec can do.
Yeah. So he's
It's only
independent, powerful, and
intra-dimensional. He can only
insubordinate.
do it within the universe as we know it. He can't
Oh
like
yeah,
go to
intradimensional. So
pocket.
he's.
Oh no,
yeah.
he can do. He does have access to some pocket dimensions though, but just not alternate realities.
Right. It allows him to basically just travel at great distances and blink the eye. He cannot open the gates to other dimensions. He cannot use the power to transport others as well as himself. But he can also trap energy that's been thrown at him in pocket dimensions. He can then store that for as much as he wants. And he's basically just defeated enemies with basically their own power. A tier is perfect for him because if he could open it up to other dimensions, S tier, easy.
Yeah.
That's
But
fair. And then it's also there's a note that like nobody's sure if the power belongs to him or the spear. So like maybe it's not his power. So maybe he's actually just kind of a poser.
yeah, it could be. He refuses to reveal the truth of source powers. I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't answer that either.
Yeah, because otherwise people will want to steal a spear.
Right?
It does make me wonder, like, Shadowrun suspects he's related to the brother Makuta, and is it because of his these dimensional powers? Because, Brotherhood of Makuta's, their base has been teleporting around, so you would think maybe he's related, his powers are maybe a result of an experiment that the Brotherhood of Makuta has done, supposedly.
He ate an Olmec as a child.
Could be.
All right.
Yeah.
We're definitely on the last 5. So we're gonna try to rapid fire through Vengeance, and then we could stop and talk about the other 4 a little more slower. So Vengeance is a dark hunter previously motivated by a vow of revenge. His powers include temporarily solidified Rotuka, whatever that means. He also has protection for mental assaults. So, okay, first of all, right there, they knew what protection for mental assaults was. Why didn't they have defenses against that sort of thing in the first place?
Because Greg didn't think of it.
No kidding. His
Also, he
Rotuka
didn't
are
appear until I think 2006 or 2007 in the mag. In 2007, so maybe when Greg was then coming up with the powers, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing now. Now let's throw some of that in."
his Rotuka are capable of becoming temporarily solid, and they can slice through most substances. Oh, okay.
This is pretty awful.
Yeah, this is not.
Do you know how hard it is to aim a Rotuka?
Yeah. I'm actually putting him in D because
I like that the one interesting defining feature of Rotuka is the fact that they're energy wheels, and his is just like, nope, solid hit.
it's like, yeah, psych, pizza cutter. That's basically what it is. All right, so we're going to treat the next 2 entries both together but separate because they are technically the same but also completely different. So Vizok, before he was split, was a good tactician and a very good, all of the things. Obviously, he still had all of his eye blasts. He still has those, to my knowledge, yes?
Yep.
Yes, he was extremely clever, excellent tactician. His impact vision struck those within his sight with a powerful force, so he's Cyclops. Let's get that one out of the way. He also had the ability to absorb the natural powers, not Kanohi or Rotuka powers, however, of others just to use them for himself. He could only store a power for a few hours, but was capable of absorbing more than one power at once.
That's pretty good.
He also had to see the power used to absorb it, so he can't just do it through like a wall or something.
So he's like Conjurer, except not in a coma.
Yeah.
And better.
And actually doing it properly.
Yeah.
A tier because unfortunately after he was split, and that's the other question, are we at peak or are we at the aftermath?
I'd say aftermath.
Aftermath, because where do we put a Conjurer?
Yeah, well, Conjurer is at C tier and
C tier,
yeah. I would say
go ahead. I think it's fine. Yeah.
I think it's a pretty powerful ability that he has. Also, his body's resistant to the corrosive effects of some waters, which is nice. So yeah, he was also the one that did underwater stuff. Which again, then why did you need whatever? I'm not gonna let that go. I'm sorry. Next is Vizon. Oh boy.
F. Minus F.
Yep. X. Is there an X tier? Can we do that?
Okay, let's just give him the benefit of doubt. He's a horrible dark hunter. But as far as his powers, if Rudaka is S tier, I actually have to go through his powers and discuss what he can do.
Well, I guess, yeah. All right. Are we talking about after he has absorbed the Olmec?
Right. So he is also the official Great Tactician himself because he is Vizok's tactician ability. Vizon's mind is highly unstable. He often has a twisted sense of reality. He has a tendency to go on long, rambling tangents. Oh, who hasn't been there? He's also got extremely homicidal tendencies, and Brutaka observed that he had derived far too much pleasure from harming others. No, I definitely have not been there. Otherwise, he has no unique powers of his own other than the ones that the Skakti possess. However, the Ignika granted him the variety of powers. So, for example, he had the ability to see into the future, but it was only limited. He also was given the ability to absorb kinetic energy, but if I recall, that was only when he was fused with Fenrak, yes?
Sure. I can't
Gave
remember.
him invulnerability to physical attacks, since he would grow immediately. He would immediately grow strong enough to withstand any attack being hit. Blah blah blah. So when he was hit by a wave of energized protodermis, while wearing the Kanoi Olmec, the Olmec and its power were absorbed into his body, and now he has the ability to instantly shift between locations. However, he has no control over those when the portals and where they might lead. The power over dimensional gates was then deactivated by the Cursed Great Being. So I'm sorry. He's probably F tier.
Like
Unless
he's
we count
supposed to.
his. No, go on.
He's supposed to be Vizok's like planning and cunning, and he's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that. He's just not good.
Here's the other trivia note. Grant Farsi considers Vizon one of his favorite characters to write about.
Well, yeah. So I mean, like, if we're including his plot armor, like, he would be an S tier. But
That's true.
That is very true. He no longer has the foresight or the kinetic energy absorption, so all he can do is the dimensional gates, and he can't even do that anymore.
yeah, useless. F tier.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. Next up is Voporok. Voporok
S.
is
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't
My
even have to go any
guy.
further. Temporal field creation, detection of time fluctuations, time disjunction rotuka, which sounds so devastating to even think about getting hit by. His rotuka has the ability to distort an opponent's sense of time, knocking the perception of time backwards by several seconds. So that just knocks you flat on your ass the whole time. You can't even get up from that, because as far as you're concerned, getting up means getting back down.
Yeah, he's literally untouchable.
Yeah.
You have to throw the shadowed one at him to do anything.
Yeah.
Is there would it be a copyright strike if you played Can't Touch This?
Most likely, and I'm
Bummer.
pretty sure the Bionicle Day staff, including myself, would not be happy about losing that one. But it's in all of our minds anyway, as long as you remember the song. We're all thinking about it already.
No, you just have to read it without intonation.
No. You know what? I get right now.
Nah.
Yeah.
Cannot touch this.
Da 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 da. I'll
Perfect.
just have the dance playing up on the screen on a GIF. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So Voporok somehow also survived another attack from the Shadow. Yeah. So Voporok survived the attack of the Shadow one being thrown into him. Somehow. And 1,000 years later went to the island of Matsunui after Tanu Nuva used the Vahi there. He was paired with Ancient on his search, so Ancient later returned to Odina. And eventually he does finally break it and steal the Vahi. So again, just to clarify, Voporok is a time-sensitive servant of the Dark Hunters whose only goal and only creation, which, by the way, he was a member of Sidarok species. Let's not go into that rant. His whole plan and his whole reason for existing was to discover if somebody created the Vahi and find where it is. Why? Please explain that to me.
Because Legends of Metronui was not written by Greg. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just why? Why was that a power that they needed existing? Anyway, we are finally on the last official Dark Hunter. There's a lot of unnamed Dark Hunters I didn't even bother with, and if I did, this would be a 2-hour podcast. It probably already is a 2-hour podcast. I will apologize to Liam in advance. Finally, we have Zaktan, who, by the way, I made a choice on the photo. I could have gone with the grin, decided against it, wanted to go for the most powerful, impactful image, where you could clearly see his major power is being, you guessed it, prototypes.
Yeah, I think he could go in S.
Mhm.
I do think he belongs in S. I
'Cause
do
not
think,
only is he like invulnerable to damage, but he can also like, I don't know, like turn into a swarm and then like start biting you. It's a big problem.
it is a very big problem that somebody would have to deal with at some point.
The only way to defeat him is to be a flying Toa of Earth and drown him.
And even then, that didn't really do anything. So he also has
Yeah.
laser vision of him for himself. And more importantly, his knowledge of the plan makes him a very dangerous individual for the Brotherhood. Because if he really chose to try to combat them, he knows exactly what to do. But instead, he was trying to get in and actually, be a part of that. See how well
Yeah,
that worked.
despite knowing the plan, he doesn't do anything to
I
protect
know.
himself.
That's even the worst part. He knows exactly the plan, and he figures, well, let's just go raid Makuta's lair. That's not a bad idea. He already knows what the plan is. All the
Like,
way
surely
down
you
to
would
the
want to
event
get
of a Toe of Light playing a game of Coley against him. That was on the wall. That still blows my mind.
like surely you would want to be on Makuta's good side if you figured out you were inside a giant robot that he was planning to take over.
Apparently, he was also aware of the truth about the antidermis. Was the only one who was permitted by Pterodax to approach it without experiencing severe pain. Which, by the way, that's another thing. I didn't realize antidermis could, induce pain in anybody near him.
I'm assuming it's just like telepathic pain, like it's just Makuta being like, nope, don't come near me, go away, don't like you, don't watch you.
Perhaps. Well, either way, all right. So that was basically our list, and it's actually a lot better sorted than I thought it would be.
Yeah, this is great. I don't really
Oh.
have any notes.
Yeah. So
That's a nice, solid, even distribution. It's pretty good.
what I'm also noticing here is the 6 original Skakti, the Paraka, are either S tier or A tier.
Yep.
Except for
We
Vizon.
kind of figured that was gonna
Well,
happen.
and then there's Vizon. All the
He
way to
doesn't
the
count for
bottom.
nothing.
There we go.
Mhm.
Vizon's off the list. He's just at the bottom now.
Beautiful.
I don't think there's any other notes here. Is there any other placement we need to move, or are you happy with how all this worked out?
No, I like this.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
Um,
Very
fair.
solid.
Like, do we want to move, like, say, Avok up to S tier as we talked about, or are we happy with the S tier?
Hmm.
Hmm.
He could move up. I'm pretty flexible on him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll put him at the
sure,
bottom
go
of
for
it,
it.
but
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So there you go. That's our list. And if you have any other ideas on what you believe the list should be, feel free to leave comments. And, by the way, I should have mentioned at the beginning of this that this is all pre-recorded. So if anybody was trying to spam the chat about their ideas, I mean, sorry, we're not reading it for at least another, what day is it? 2 months.
Feel free to rage.
Feel free to rage at your own convenience. And with that, this has been fun. I'm Swert.
Dorek.
This is Casey and 02.
And Spirit.
All right, and have a wonderful day.